Hello, and welcome to another live parenting Q&A. How is everybody doing this afternoon? I am broadcasting from my Zoom because that I'm hoping that this will work better, and I'm also jumping on my page through my phone so that I can actively listen to read your comments as they come through. Beautiful. Thank you to all of you joining in. I can see a few of you all coming in to be members of our group, so thank you. I can see a lot of new member requests coming in so that you can be a part of this live. So do feel free. I'm just going to clean my screen there. Do feel free to ask questions so we can make it as interactive as we can. Also note that you are free, as many parents are doing this. They are sending in requests anonymously, sharing their concerns anonymously, and I completely understand that because parenting is challenging, and a lot of us parents have, it's very common to feel like take judgment on ourselves. So self-judgment is a big one in this parenting field, and feeling like you are not a good enough parent because you have these challenges is common with 99%, if not more, parents. So just knowing that you are not alone. Me, I'm a parenting coach and I feel that too. So this makes me realize, if I can feel it, then who is exempt? I do this 24/7 and I still go through these emotions. Yes, my awareness is different because as I feel it, I can tune into it and I can process the emotion, which is a skill that comes with this with the job that I do, fortunately. So I don't stay there, but if I can be feeling it, you are not wrong, or it is not bad at all that you feel it. So uh, thank you again for joining us. Today we are talking about getting our kids to listen to us. So I'd love for you to put in the comment box. I'm seeing comments coming through. Thank you guys. Hey Heather, good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Put in a question. Tell me about your journey, guys, of being of having your kids. And even I know, Heather, you're a grandma, so tell us about that. What is that like? Where is that challenge, and where is that pain coming from? What is the level of frustration? So from a scale of 0 to 10, what is your level of frustration of not having your kids listen to you? Bring on the comments, guys. I've got it on. I can see your comments coming through. So beautiful. Thank you, Heather. Selective hearing is paramount, she says. And that is true. We feel like our kids are choosing what they want to hear and what they choose not to. So guess what, guys? Brilliant. If they are choosing, why do you think they choose some of the topics that we talk about and that they're clued in? What is the trend? Is it that they can see what they're getting out of it? So you might have heard of this WIFM, what's in it for me? So when kids can tune into and can read into that there is a benefit for them, guess what? They're listening to us. So is that true, Heather? Just question, is it that when they choose to listen, it's because there's something in it for them? And if that is the case, then how can we design what we put out to our kids so that they can feel like there is something in it for them? Because guess what? We are the parent. We can design these things. We can get our kids to feel like they are winning too. But before that, we need to have sufficient amount of confidence in ourselves. So empowered parenting, guys, is about the emotion behind parenting. It's about the energy. Emotion is nothing but energy in motion, is what I say. So we are about tuning into where we are at energetically and where do we meet our kids. I'm going to put this here because I'm loving Heather's comments coming through. So she says, yes, mention a treat and ears are on. Brilliant. Let's work that into our parenting strategies. Let's become aligned with what works and do more of that. It's not tricking our kids, it really is being a strategic parent, don't you think? So really coming back to getting our kids to listen. So it's a really loaded question when parents come to me saying, I just can't get my child to listen. It's like talking to deaf ears, it's like a broken record. And with empowered parenting, what I want you to tune back on, or take a step back and have a look at what new perspective can you hold, because the way you have been going about your parenting, and I hear this so many times where parents will model the way they were raised, and they will say to me that I will never become like my mom. Well, guess what we resist, write this down, what we resist persists. And when we are resisting being like that parent, how many times do we catch ourselves and say, oh shit, where did that come from? Excuse my language, guys, this is how I talk. I've had that happen to me. I stop myself and say, oh my God, I thought of my mom as being Hitler when I was being raised. And I came to a point in my parenting that I said, oh my God, I was being my mom. I was being controlling. I was being um, very forceful in my actions, in the way I wanted my kids to act, in the way my kids reacted. I was so set, and I was really setting myself up for disappointment. So I want you to see where you are doing that. Is your need to control? Where is your need on a scale of 0 to 10? Where is your need to control your child's behavior? Are you tuned in to listening to your child? Are you tuned to being connected to your child and being on the same level plane with them? When you ask them to do something, say you ask them to put the TV off and come and help me set up for dinner. So this all depends on the age of your child, yeah? And you find that you are having to repeat this 10 times. And I say to parents, that's really interesting that you can pinpoint that it's 10 times before they listen to you. Where is that number 10 coming from? Is this a pattern of yours, that there are different ranges of your anger or your tolerance, that when you reach 10, what does that look like? What is the tone of your voice? Are your kids responding to that tone of your voice, or the level of frustration and the energy within you? If that's the case, then let's step out of this. Let's watch what we are playing out, because our pattern is what is determining our child's pattern. So let's take a step back and let's look at what stages we put ourselves through before we get to frustration point, and that at that point our child listens to us. Is it that at stage 1 you're simply saying it and you're calm? By stage 3 you are saying it in a louder voice, and your frustration levels are gradually increasing. And then at 10 your frustration levels are at a 10, and you find that your kids are responding. So where is that coming from? Do you know what is making your child, at what point is your child listening to you? And if that's the case, then how can we bring that to level 2 instead of reaching to level 10? How can we put that much of determination in our voice, or the expectation and the energy from which we communicate with our child? How can we bring that to a stage 2 before they listen to us, and not to have to reach to stage 10 where our frustration is off the charts? So how do we do this? How do we come to this point? Is I'm just looking at the comments, guys. Please put your comments in. I am responding to comments here today. So step number 1 is, how am I feeling? When you put out a request to your child, how am I feeling? Next, what are my thoughts? Check in with your feeling. Is there a feeling of disappointment that your child is there you go. They're not, I'm going to put this out. I'm going to ask them to put the TV off and come and set the table. And I already know that they're not going to do it. Is that the case? Is that where you're at? Is that the energy from which you ask your child to do something? Just be completely honest with yourself, because we are meeting our expectations. The energy from which we are parenting from is what our child is picking up. So being present is number one. And as you're present, you check in with yourself and you say, what am I feeling? When I reach to that level 10 that I was talking to you about, if you are that parent who needs to go to level 10 before your child can listen to you, then check in with what is that feeling like? What is the emotion that you are resonating in, and at what level? Because that's the level from which you have trained your child. And I'll also say your child has trained you. That is correct. Your child has trained you to respond to them in a way, and you have trained your child equally to not respond to you at the times that you have set out for them. So let's just become aware of our patterns, and to do that we need to step out of our own selves, become the observer of your relationship with your child. Beautiful, Kate. Kate is saying yes, disappointment and setting high expectations for my kids. Exactly. That is where we are setting ourselves up for disappointment. I want to mention this, what happened this morning. So I was in between seeing clients. It's school holidays here. My daughter had woken up. My younger one had woken up. She was sitting in bed. She was on her phone. Yes, kids love to be on their phone. My kids do, and that's all good, because it's set within boundaries and expectation. It doesn't come downstairs in the family room, and they set this up themselves because they value our family time. But that's besides the point. The point I'm trying to make to you is that this morning when I went into, because my office is close by to the kids' toilet, I went into their toilet and I noticed that it was dirty. And I said to my daughter, so this is me assessing how well she's going to listen to me. And I said, hey, I would like your toilet to be cleaned. Your toilet isn't clean, and it's looking it's not it is dirty. I would like it to be clean. I also went on to say that this is what I would like you to do. I would like you to spray the surfaces, give them a clean, put the toilet gel into the toilet, and use the brush and clean it. And I left it at that, and I just thought to myself, I wonder whether she will listen to me, because as you know, I'm preparing for this live as well. When I got back after a few other appointments and went back into their toilet, I noticed that it was clean. And I was happy. And I said, all right, now, what do you think made that work? What is it that got her to listen to me and do that at only one attempt? So I thought I would break that down here so you can see how this works. So what I communicated to her was, how did I feel as I was communicating that to her, is I had an expectation that she would do it. I didn't doubt it. I didn't have any set of disappointment or frustration that she wouldn't. So ask yourself, are you frustrated at any time that when you ask your children to do something that they won't do it? And maybe you have valid reasons, because they have never listened. So how do you expect me to believe that they will listen now, Yolanda? So I get that, but that's exactly where I want you to break your pattern. Set energetically, set a request without having doubt in your own self, without having your own fears, without having your own self-judgment, and without setting too high expectations, as Kate said. So the expectation that I set on my daughter when I told her that was very was achievable. Spray the surfaces, put the gel in the toilet, and use the brush. I could have said scrub down the shower. I could have said uh, put soap in the tub and clean that up. But no, I set very achievable goals and very limited ones where it didn't feel overwhelming to her. So very achievable. The energy with which I set out my instructions was very clear. If I had gone back and she hadn't done it, it wasn't the end of the world. It would just be possibly looking for ways that I could support her and trying to understand why could she not meet my request. So just within that, guys, there's so many clues of how you can get your kids to listen to them. Get onto the same page with them. Speak a language that meets that they feel that it's reachable. Your expectations are reachable and doesn't set them up for disappointment. Careful about where we judge them. So come from an energy. So remember, fear and love are two sides of the same coin. If we are parenting from fear, we're putting judgment, we have doubt, we don't trust, and we lack confidence, even in our own selves. So that's where, remember, fear and love is from the same, are two sides from the same coin. So when you are parenting your child, yes, you're doing it in love. You want them to grow up to be confident individuals and be able to set their own hopes, and you have all these fears coming up as to are they going to be successful or not. So as you parent from the energy of love, you will find that you cannot have these fears and parent them from an energy of love. And when I say energy of love, it is that trust in them, it is that confidence in them, it is the acceptance of them, and that all comes back to acceptance of our own self. When I work with the clients that I do, it's so key for me to assess where the parent feels they are on their own journey. How loving and accepting are they of themselves? How clued in they are with their emotions. So many coaches out there will say to parents, "Oh, just relax," um, or "Be kind to yourself," or "Don't be so hard on yourself." But do they really know what that means? Or they may say, "Be calm, be a calm parent." But do you know what that means to be a calm parent? What that means is to be present, is to be in tune with how you are feeling. It is to be in tune with the thoughts that you think, which causes to feel the emotion that we do. So these are all linked, and this is where that deep work happens. On my 12 weeks, so I have a 12-week program that I take parents on a journey through. And each of these weeks is where we go deeper and deeper into getting parents aligned within themselves. And by week 3, it's so fascinating to see the massive change back by even earlier. The moment parents commit to this work, they are committing to themselves, and they're committing to the energy that they bring into their parenting, which is such a brilliant place to start. It starts with me. So emotions is a big one that we cover, and it comes back to us being in alignment with our own selves as we parent with our kids. So in order to understand how we can do that, and if this is something, so many parents out there are not ready to take on responsibility on themselves to see how can I change myself so that I can change my child's behavior. It begins with us. We have created the homes, the relationship with our kids, and it is hard for a lot of parents to accept that. And I work with parents who are ready to take that that step and say, okay, it begins with me, what can I do now? And as they take that commitment, that's where the journey of self discovery begins. That's where I take them on my 5 stages of that journey from chaos to calm, where I will be covering all of this in my parenting workshop that is happening on Saturday, the 24th of April. So if you are ready to commit to yourself, then jump on, because I will be sharing with you how you can come back into alignment with yourself, how you can be in control of the energy you bring into your parenting, how you can change your children's behavior, how can you get them jumping on to do what you ask them to do. Like my daughter did this morning. I said to her once, and I went back into my calls. I came back and the toilet was clean, the toilet bowl was clean, the surfaces were clean, and I didn't have to get into an energy battle because I have cleared my energy. And that is what my clients do too. Go through the Empowered Parenting page, have a look at all of the comments of the parents who have committed to their empowered parenting journey, of the results that they see in their lives and in their kids. I have parents say to me how magical this work is, that how difficult their child was. Their child was resentful, their child was angry, they were slamming doors to each other. And today they can't get enough of each other, because our core need is for love and connection. Our child's core need is for love and connection. It's just that we haven't been speaking each other's love languages. It's just that we haven't been in tune with our own self to meet our own needs and fill our own cups, and from that space give to our kids from a high energy space and not from a drained out space. If you are a mom that goes to bed drained out, it's because you are giving from an empty cup. You are giving from with an energy of possibly feeling bad and feeling guilt and questioning yourself and not trusting yourself enough. And this is what my earnest request is, that you build your trust and confidence in your own self, which is the 4 C's of empowered parenting. And they are to commit, your commitment to your journey, being courageous to step up to being your highest self and parenting from your best self, for being consistent in your actions, so taking steps consistently so that you can bring about these changes, which then gets you to enjoy the confidence that you do in being that parent, that confident and trusting parent, that you are there, that support pillar for your child, because your child needs that. And if you aren't doing that yet, then the change happens within you. So join me on my half day, on my parenting workshop, my 90-minute. It's just, I brought it down from a half day workshop to a 90-minute workshop, just because parents are looking for answers and they want to know exactly what they need to do in the shortest amount of time. So it's my first attempt at putting together the shortest workshop ever, which is just a 90-minute workshop. It's happening on a weekend, on Saturday, before the busyness of your weekend, 10:30 to 12 p.m. I will be covering all of these depths of information. And guess what? There's 5 free tickets to my half day workshop. All you need to do is say yes, private message me, or put it in the comment section. Say yes to coming on board, and you will receive, just say yes, emotional resilience. That's my workshop. That's what my workshop is called. Emotional resilience for parents who are looking to raise emotionally resilient kids. So with that, I will love you and leave you. Thank you guys for joining me.